Y'all need to leave me the alone because I got one more cigarette in me before I start lighting up. Alright? And that's where to the United States of Mother America. Yeah.
You never know. She has a very big TikTok following. And that's the angle.
There's an exhilarating startup culture emanating out of Mar-a-Lago, where Trump and his transition team are pulling in the best and brightest into rooms and asking them, what do you got? Elon Musk has a seat at the table, and he's spitballing ideas that have never been tried in government. He's been camped out at Mar-a-Lago and sitting in on hiring sessions. And Trump's drinking in Elon's ideas and stress testing them. Axios says the two billionaires are fusing into a new powerful governing media paradigm. Elon calls himself the first buddy. Trump's granddaughter, Kai, says Elon's already achieving uncle status. The transition team's moving fast and already shaking up Washington. And this just in. Fox News alert, Donald Trump has announced that he's nominating Fox News host Pete Hegseth to serve as Secretary of Defense. Pete's a decorated Army combat vet who did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and has been a fierce advocate for veterans on and off the air. He's a Princeton and Harvard guy and great husband and father and one of our favorite people here at Fox. No one loves America more than Pete, and no one will defend our interests at home and abroad with more seriousness and strength. He'll be working right alongside former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, who has just been named CIA Director. Besides running intelligence ops, we expect Ratcliffe to facilitate the release of the government files on the JFK assassination, the Epstein case, the lab leak, Hunter Biden's sugar brother, and the Trump assassination attempts. That would rebuild trust with the American people. Although I'm not sure if we can expect full transparency from a CIA director. We'll see. And this also just in. President Trump has just announced that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will be in charge of dismantling government bureaucracy, slashing regulations, cutting wasteful spending, and just restructuring bloated agencies. These two will lead the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, D-O-G-E. Trump likens it to the Manhattan Project, which will make the government leaner and more effective in order to better serve the American people. The government's long been an orgy of fraud and abuse, and Trump promises that although it'll send shockwaves through D.C., it'll ultimately be a gift to the American people on our 250th birthday, which we'll be celebrating in 2026. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been tapped to be Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank God Mayorkas is gone. This is a big job for Governor Noem. She'll oversee the Secret Service, FEMA, Border Patrol, and ICE. That's a lot of bureaucracy to wrap your arms around. Bureaucracy with a lot of problems. She'll have her work cut out for her. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee has just been named ambassador to Israel. Not Jewish, but close enough. We're still waiting for Trump to name his Attorney General, Treasury Secretary, Press Secretary, and Health and Human Services person. We're wondering where RFK Jr. is going to land, along with Tulsi Gabbard. As Trump picks his cabinet, the world is watching. Iran has done a 180. The mullahs are saying, President Trump, sorry we tried to kill you. Let's make peace. And the president of South Korea is practicing his golf swing for the first time in 8 years. He's expecting to play a few rounds with 47. Oh, and the media is in full retreat. Reports say CNN's going to be axing top stars and making others take pay cuts. Chris Wallace just resigned from CNN out of the blue. Comcast has been thinking of spinning off and selling MSNBC. And we all know what's going on at the Washington Post. Oh, and Mark Cuban just got caught deleting all of his pro-Harris tweets, like no one would notice. Every Democrat's trying to wipe away any fingerprints they've left on this campaign. The Obamas are coming out and saying it wasn't our idea to put Kamala in. We wanted a primary. Blame the Biden people.
The people who are giving these unnamed quotes are the people who are in this kind of bubble of enablers that should have gone to him long ago and said, cash in your chips, boss. You'll be thought of more highly.
Right.
And you'll give your party a better chance to win. But they are all, holding hands in this circle of denial.
No, they were part of the cover-up.
If he had walked away, it would have been country over self. I think people would have admired him for it. And you know, it really
losers.
I am just anyway. I've said my piece.
Nancy Pelosi says the same thing. It's all Biden's fault. But the ladies of The View, they're going to bat for Joe.
If you've got nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. I mean, why, Nancy? Why? I find this so unproductive, so nasty, so unnecessary. It's like she wants to make sure that people know it wasn't her. She has no blame in this. I said Biden should have gotten out earlier. I said there shouldn't have been a primary. Don't blame me. I think it's really unseemly. It's done, folks. Donald Trump won and he won decisively. Stop blaming Joe Biden. Eso es muy feo. Muy feo.
Muy feo. Bernie's been running to the cameras telling everybody, I told you so. And now AOC's backing him up. She's calling Kamala fake.
Personally, I don't. I think that a lot of voters really don't like fake people, and they're sick and tired of fake politicians. And so what I actually think is worse is saying something you don't believe. And then you lose an election, and then the next day you say all that stuff was wrong. I actually think what people are more upset about is someone was doing something they didn't believe and just saying something. Like, if you actually weren't about that life, why did you campaign as though you were?
Oh!
And everyone's running
AOC turned on the witch.
She burned them for $1 billion and wasn't even
hers.
Her campaign looks like one big fat money laundering operation. She was shaking down billionaires to pay millionaires. Oprah was forced to admit, yeah, she was paid $1 million for her Kamala interview. She says, I did not take any personal fee. However, the people who worked on that production needed to be paid. And were. End of story. She's not the only one. Just weeks before Kamala did an interview with Al Sharpton, the Harris campaign donated $500,000 to Reverend's nonprofit. That's according to the Free Beacon. Why is Kamala's presidential campaign funneling $500,000 to the National Action Network right before an interview with Al? The National Action Network. Why is a political campaign bribing Al Sharpton with charitable donations? Do you know what Al Sharpton does with money from his nonprofit? The Rev, in 1 year, spent $1 million on private jets and limos. It's a slush fund for the Reverend and his crew. It's been in trouble with the IRS for years for tax evasion. And Kamala's like, oh, here you go. Take $500,000. Imagine if you gave Kamala $500,000 to win Pennsylvania, and she just handed it to Al to take a private jet to Tahiti. Happy DEI Thursday. This is the same campaign that the media said was perfect.
Kamala Harris ran basically a flawless campaign.
I think because she ran an incredible campaign, it's been very telling about who we are.
She ran a flawless campaign, and I maintain that.
This really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign.
I mean, it was flawless if you were Al Sharpton. But the Raging Cajun, he's had it up to here. And wants the entire Democrat establishment to just do a walk of shame out of Washington and repent for their sins.
Justify what you did wrong and tell us what you're going to do different. Because what you've done ain't worth. All right? Get your head around that. In all of the Washington-based Democrats farting around, going to wine and cheese parties and talking about how misogynistic race is, get your ass out of Washington and go work on a 2026 campaign and do penance to make up for your goddamn arrogance and stupidity.
All the Democrats can now do is just pray for the second coming. Hopefully for them, another Messiah just mysteriously appears out of Hawaii.
I'm Owen Hannity, and tonight the 2024 election is in the books, and Thanksgiving, we have a lot to be thankful for, is just around the corner. But unfortunately, some on the radical left, they're determined to use the holiday season to take another political stand. They want to cast out their own family and close friends. I'm not making it up. You decide.
I completely understand her point, because I really do feel that this candidate, President-elect Trump, is just a different type of candidate. From the things he's said and the things he's done and the things he will do, it's more of a moral issue for me.
I want to be at Thanksgiving dinner with her. Probably turkey legs, mashed potatoes being thrown around. Anyway, tonight we're going to take a step back. Dr. Drew Pinsky is going to join us with advice how to navigate what will be a very challenging holiday season for so many families with loved ones who are totally consumed with Trump derangement syndrome. But while hysteria continues on the left, Donald Trump is getting to work big time. Breaking only moments ago, Donald Trump announced that our good friend and our colleague Pete Hegseth, he will be nominated as the Secretary of Defense. Now, Pete is an Army veteran. He served in Iraq. He served in Afghanistan. He also earned 2 Bronze Stars. He also holds degrees from Princeton and Harvard and has made it his life's work to advocate for our veterans and active duty service members. His passion is and has always been the U.S. military, and that I know is a fact. And that's not all. The president-elect also announced that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will lead the new Department of Government Efficiency. Get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. Wouldn't that be great? According to Elon Musk, quote, this will send shock waves through the system. Anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people, well, their work will conclude no later than July 4th, 2026. As President Trump stated, quote, this will be the perfect gift to America on the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Meanwhile, Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, my senator, is now expected to be tapped as Donald Trump's Secretary of State. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe, he has now been picked to lead the CIA. Congressman Mike Waltz, a decorated Green Beret, will join Trump as his national security advisor. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been picked to be the Homeland Security Secretary. And former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, who will join us in just a moment. He has been nominated as the next U.S. ambassador to Israel. As FoxNews.com put it, Donald Trump is forming his cabinet at breakneck speed compared to 2016.
I'll pause this
and tomorrow, the
for the
president
losers. Look, being a loser is okay. You lose and then you start turning on your people. That's what Democrats do. That's what black people do. Black people will turn on you in a second. They'll turn on their own family. They'll turn on their own friends. They even turned on me. But guess what? I'm a winner. I really don't care. You can turn on me all you want. All right. Hey, it don't matter, bro. You can't compare to me. There's no competition with my intelligence. Look at that right there. What's that back there? Oh, what's that right there? Military veteran. But look, I ain't gonna be bragging about myself because there's no bragging, but I tell you what, it's legacy. And I'm not a loser. And I don't mess with losers. But look, y'all still my people. If you got to do what you got to do, get your life, and then come back and holler at me. But don't holler about politics, because you don't know what you're talking about, losers.